doesn't matter who you are, you treat everyone with respect. Doesn't matter if it's janitor or CEO, you treat everyone the same.
I just had a really interesting conversation with Trevor Cadwell. Trevor talked about the influence his grandpa had on him when he was a young boy and how that's shaped him into being so dedicated to taking care of his family, his wife Hannah, and his boys Waylon and Walker. I think you're going to really enjoy hearing from Trevor Cadwell. Today we're coming to you from Superior, Wisconsin on a cold winter day. And I have the pleasure of sitting down with Trevor Cadwell. Trevor, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's going to be an interesting podcast for sure. I haven't done anything like this before. So.
Well, I can tell you everyone I've talked to so far hasn't either. So everyone's there, a guinea pig for me. But it's a great opportunity to just learn more about our coworkers and give everybody an opportunity to get to know you a little bit better as well. So, Trevor, tell us what you do for C&G and how long you've worked for us.
Again, Trevor Cadwell, the quality manager at the Superior plant. Been with the company for 11 years. Started basically right out of high school. Started as a line operator, running a production line. Did that for about 5 years. Then went to quality as a quality coordinator, and now the quality manager within last year or so.
So when you started here out of high school and you had that first job, did you think you'd be here 11 years later?
For me, if I am treated well, I'm going to stay. Like
Yeah.
no intention, no desire to leave. Like
Mhm.
the company, I've been here for, again, 11 years. There's no reason for me to leave.
Yeah.
Going from, line operator all the way up to manager and, being 30 years old and there's still, sky's the limit it's exciting.
Yeah. That's awesome to hear. And it's kind of been a theme, I would say, with a lot of the employees that I've talked with on our podcast is being able to grow within the company. And I love that. And it sounds like you found your true passion and quality.
Yeah. It's quality is definitely one of those areas where you're always looking for ways to get better, always
Hmm.
looking for opportunities, problem solving. Really, you deal with everyone. You deal from shipping to sales to maintenance and line operators. So you deal with everyone.
Yeah, you do. And you have to be diplomatic, right?
Yes.
Because it's like you have to go tell somebody you didn't quite make this right. And yeah.
Yeah, you have to keep that communication where you're not putting someone on the defensive either. Helping support each other for one goal.
Hmm.
The goal is make film, make it good, make it right,
Hmm.
and don't make it, mistakes.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your life outside of work.
I got a beautiful wife, Hannah. I got 2 kids, Waylon and Walker. They are 3 and 3.5 and 2. Walker will actually be 2 the day after Christmas. He has the unfortunate December 26th birthday. So,
Oh, that is unfortunate.
yeah, we get a plan for birthday presents and Christmas presents. So
Yep.
it's a joy.
How long have you been married?
5 years,
5 years.
4 years,
And 2 little boys.
5 years, 5 years.
5 years.
Sorry.
So what are your hobbies? What do you like to do when you're not working?
So outside of work, I mean, a lot of my time is with the kids. They're my favorite part of the day, going home and seeing them, and they're very very different between the two of them. You got one who is super sweet, but also can be a bit of a bruiser at the same time because he's a giant. The youngest one, he is just always happy as can be. Seeing them grow up is really what I spend a lot of my time doing. Beyond that, I do a lot of building stuff, fixing things. I've had people bring lawnmowers, weed whackers, all that type of stuff to me to fix because it just I have ability to just kind of fix things, so I enjoy doing that. And
Yeah, I was talking to Travis earlier. He said that you still haven't returned his.
I,
Is it lawnmower or
It-
weed whacker?
his weed whacker, but I've been telling him he's got to get the parts for it. So.
Okay, the truth comes out.
Yep.
So where did that come from? That tinkering, that ability to fix things?
So actually in 5th grade, my parents had me tested for uh, dyslexia.
Mm.
And when I was tested, they had me run through a gamut of testing, and it was kind of weird. They were giving me all sorts of tests, reading and math and all that stuff. And one of them was a problem solving test.
Hmm.
In 5th grade, I had a college level problem solving ability from whatever test that was. I don't
Wow.
remember what it was, but yeah, I was tested and I didn't have dyslexia or anything, but it was, something that I struggled with was reading, but found a different skill of problem solving. So I don't know how, where, or why it got me where I am now, but it's something that I think of and I think really helps me with
Hmm.
obviously in quality. We got to find defects. What's the cause of it? How do we fix it?
Yeah. One thing that I'm a real believer in as a leader, that trying to figure out how to play to the strengths of individuals. It's a lot of people want to focus on what are you weak at and how do we build that up. I think if you can focus on someone's strengths and really put them in an opportunity to play to their strengths, everyone's going to win and people are going to be happier. So it sounds like you've had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it's great when we can have a I mean, not great when we have a problem, but nothing better than like
Yeah.
solving it and knowing it's solved for good.
Yeah.
Um, get a lot of reward in that. And every time we run, millions of pounds of product, and knowing that every time that we run it, we're successful because of one action we put in places. I get a reward out of that.
So going back to 5th grade and finding that out, how did that make you feel?
Uh, it, so my family, they pushed me towards some sort of mechanical ability type of stuff. They always
Mhm.
wanted me to be a mechanic to some degree, but um, just going and then start processing how to fix things, getting the puzzles, taking apart bikes, and doing all that type of simple stuff. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was able to
What you figured it
figure it
out,
out.
kinda like, MacGyver.
Yeah.
Do you know who MacGyver is?
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
maybe you're too young for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a little bit, not too
Okay,
much, but
alright. So then you're known as a fix-it guy. Even when you were a little kid, were people bringing their bikes over?
yeah, a little bit. Normally, like you might have had people like, "Hey, you just want to come over and build this thing for me." Ping pong tables, simple stuff like that. It's just
Yeah,
something that's pretty natural.
that's cool. So with your boys, I know they're young, but, you think that they're gonna pick up some of that?
Oh yeah, for sure. My oldest Waylon, he has, actually, sorry, both of them. Even they have play toys and wrenches and drills and screwdrivers, and they'll go
Oh.
and they'll try to like fix the tires. And I did the brakes on my car, and it's a older Toyota Avalon, and I got some nice scratches because he went and tried to fix the side of the door, and so there's a mark
Oh,
from a
boy.
screwdriver on there.
Oh, that's cute, though.
Yeah.
So you were talking earlier about how they're so different from each other.
Yep.
Does one take after you more and one take after Hannah?
So I don't know for sure. Like they're both so young that it's tough to say, but they're both really sweet. My
Is
old
that is that from you?
Yeah, that's for me for sure.
Oh,
No, that's definitely
okay,
that's my wife.
okay.
She's a sweetheart. She
Okay,
has a
all
big
right,
heart,
okay,
but
good.
um, they do just the simplest things of the oldest. I mean, he can get a little wild, but he'll just sit and tap his little brother's head and say, "Sorry, Walker," after he does something wrong.
Aw,
And
that's cute.
yeah, they're really nice. But every morning they're always like ready. And the oldest, best way to get him out of bed is just say, "Do you want to wake Walker up?" So he opens the door, slams the door open, and then says, "Morning, Walker."
Yeah,
And so he just loves
that's
it.
oh, that's so cute. Kids can be so much fun. Wait till they become teenagers, then you're gonna have your hands full, right?
I imagine so.
So, if you could go back and to your 18-year-old self, I know you joined Charter and it was a fabulous decision for you. Is there anything you think about, gosh, if I would have done that, or maybe there's a different career I would think about, or do you feel like this is it?
I with where I've grown in the company is doesn't make me want to change my mind or anything. I've thought about that. Where would I do? What would I do? There's nothing I could think of that I would rather be doing per se. I enjoy, the people we work with, the problem solving. If I were to talk to myself at that age, I just
Mhm.
say do exactly what I did now.
Yeah. So living up here in Duluth, so I live in Chicago. like I said earlier, I'm up here in Duluth in December. I don't know why we didn't do these podcasts back when it was warm, that 1 month
Yeah.
in August. But what's that like?
We get to enjoy a limited amount of nice weather. So we get
No, I'm talking winter, like when
oh
it's 30 degrees below and the wind is coming off Lake Superior and, your nose freezes.
yeah. We it's terrible at times. There's no doubt about that. Um, it's definitely like right now, it goes 0 degrees, and then you get a wind chill, and it goes from 30 degrees the week before, and now it's freezing. You don't get to do as much. So that's where a lot of the family time comes in of hanging out at the house and staying
Okay.
indoors. But when you have a day above 30 and you're used to negative degrees, it feels warm, which is
Yeah.
weird.
So do you enjoy any of like the winter sports like hockey or skiing or
I used
snowmobiling?
I used to snowmobile a lot. Then ended up selling my snowmobile once I had the kids and timing and all that stuff came through. But um, they enjoy just riding on snowmobiles. They have
Hmm.
family friends or let me use their snowmobiles, but they just want to go for a ride. They want to go in circles all day, 24/7.
Oh, that's cool.
They love it.
Yeah. Well, you could probably buy an old used snowmobile that doesn't run and fix it.
I've done that like a handful of times.
Oh, okay.
So the
All right.
last one is just kind of waiting. Where do I find the
Oh,
next deal type of
okay.
thing.
Okay. Cool. And then how do you dress warm enough to be able to go?
Layers. There's layers upon layers on layers.
Yeah.
Um, I think I have get a lot of nice winter gear, but once you're out there, you're moving like on a snowmobile, you're staying warm. Uh, in the gloves, you got heated hand warmers, all that type of stuff helps out a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Packer fan and I've sat out there in the Packer Stadium, like in the below 10-degree weather. And sometimes I think I am nuts
Yeah,
for doing this. Like being out there just for a little bit, your whole body, it's hard to warm up that when you come in.
yeah, it's tough. Just kind of getting used to it. I mean, it's a tough thing to really process, especially when you have people who aren't used to 0 degree weather.
Yeah.
You get so used to it, it's a long stretch, nothing worse than when you're walking in a Walmart parking lot and you got to walk all the way to the front and it is
Yeah.
the wind's right in your face. That's a tough one.
So let's shift gears a little bit. I'm wondering if there's anyone that you'd really like to meet. Is there a celebrity, a role model, an author, anyone that if you could meet anyone, is there a particular person?
So I would meet someone I already know, which I would
Hmm.
meet him 50 years ago if I could.
Um,
So my grandpa was one of the best workers out there. He was completely deaf. He worked at a match mill for 40 years.
hmm.
I think he called in twice his entire 40 years.
Wow.
So I'd love to know what it was like for him 30, 40 years ago. And, he's passed now, but seeing what he had to go through during that time frame, how it was difficult, how he managed stuff. And, he wasn't treated the best, but he was a hard worker and he
Hmm.
worked. And I remember just cutting wood with him in the winter or the summertime. There was one day even got his finger caught in a wood splitter and popped his finger open. He came out half hour later and just kept splitting wood.
Wow.
Yeah, he was one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, but love to meet him again 50
Mm,
years ago.
yeah. That would be so cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm sure he would be proud of you.
Yeah.
So what lesson did you learn from him? It sounds like definitely hard work. Is there anything in particular that stands out? Like, this is what I take from my grandpa and carry with me.
So one of the things that, he kind of went through is not treated as well as he should have been. Hard of hearing, he wasn't treated with the most respect. And um, you could see it. I've heard from other people that worked with the match mill. And then I went through one of those training classes with Karen Conrath.
Oh, yeah.
And you got peer feedback. And one of the comments someone gave is, it doesn't matter who you are, you treat everyone with respect. Doesn't matter if it's janitor or CEO, you treat everyone the same. You're not trying to, treat anyone different. You're not putting anyone lower on a pedestal or anything like that. You're treating everyone the same. So, it was one of the things that I think of what how he was treated, now how do I treat other people?
Mm, really, really good lesson to learn.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I mean, we're all people, right? That's what I love about doing the podcast is, we're just sitting down here, two people having a conversation, just getting to know each other better. And it's like we work with people and we never really get below the surface. It's just like I was talking about earlier, how you doing? Oh, good. But really inside, I'm not doing so good. If we can all connect as people, just think how better the world would be.
Yeah. Yeah, finding that common ground to just everyone's got want everyone's goal is to go home safe. Go
Yeah.
home, have a good day at home too.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there anything that you think about, like if I were to say, what are you most proud of? There's probably a lot of things that go through your mind, but is there anything in particular that you've accomplished that you feel proud of yourself for?
So, my family, a pretty big family, got 3 sisters, a brother, both my parents, and, um, we kinda came up with a low income, not a low income, but when you have a family of 7, you don't have a lot of extra finances. Uh, where we were back actually in 5th grade, my parents had ended up losing their house,
Mm.
and so they lost their house. We ended up, living with my grandma in a two-bedroom house, but my grandma had a room, and then we had to share 1 bedroom for the entire family of 7.
Wow.
So, sleeping on floors and couches, that type of stuff, but knowing that we're we were in 5th, 6th grade, and then knowing that now I have my own house, like, could support my own family, knowing that all those, things that we had to go through it, providing for a family of 7 is something that I'm proud of, is providing for my family. Spoiling my kids for Christmas is gonna be a a a joy to me, just
Mm.
seeing how much, not that you wanna give too many gifts, but
Yeah,
seeing
exactly.
what you can get them and knowing that, "Alright, I can provide for my family," is a big thing.
Yeah, that's so cool. It is a balance though. You it sounds like for you, overcoming that adversity has really shaped you into who you are. And we think about for our kids, we don't want to make it too easy for them, right? We want to take care of them and give them things we didn't have, but yet got to teach them to develop their own work ethic and things like that. It's a
Yeah.
tough balance. So that overcoming that adversity, um, how do you think that's shaped you?
It is something actually again in Karen's class is makes me think about how I process things.
Hmm.
Providing for my family is, what I wanna do. Make sure, my family can do everything they need, but not letting it hold me back, so I'm afraid to make decisions.
Mm,
Knowing that where I'm at is because people have trusted me. Getting in the position, promotions, raises, everything like that is all because of who I've been as a worker, who I've been as, you know, someone who treats people at C&G, and knowing that I lost my train of thought.
No, what was going through my mind when you were saying that, because I know this is true for me, is I think it's important to reflect on the lessons learned when we're young and what we've overcome, and realize what your personal values are. What are the values that are important to you, and how did they shape you, right? So it sounds like for you, one of the core values is providing for your family,
Yep.
right? That ability to do that. And so I think it's important to just reflect on if when you're going through a tough time or you're doing something that's going to be challenging, reflecting back on what is important to me as a person, and am I living those values?
Yeah, yeah. I guess for me, it's knowing that I'm doing everything I can to
Mhm,
support myself, my
mhm,
family,
mhm,
my job, my company. I want to be able to know that people depend on me.
mm,
I I make decisions and I do it, and people trust me. Knowing that I'm doing whatever we can to make as good a product as we can.
yeah,
That's it.
that's awesome. So let's give you an opportunity to ask me a question, Trevor.
Yep. What what's future Kathy look like? Where do you see yourself 5 years from
Wow,
now?
5 years from now. I thought you were just going to say future Kathy, because that's when I was going to say, well, I'm going to live to be 100. So I'm a little over halfway. Well, maybe a lot more than halfway. Future Kathy. Gosh, you know, I am somebody that really does set goals for myself, and I always have a 5-year plan. I every year I start a new journal, and kind of, and part of that involves setting short range and long range goals, and I've been doing that for probably 15, 20 years. Um, it's tough for me right now, because I'm on sort of that cusp of I've got fewer years left to work than I have years behind me, but I love what I do. I'm energized by it. Um, but things change, right? Life changes, seasons change, people change. Um, it's hard for me to really predict where I'll be in 5 years, but I want to be able to say in 5 years that I can look back on what we've accomplished here at C&G over that 5-year period and be very, very proud of it. I'm proud of what we've accomplished so far, but if we can really tap into the hearts and minds of our employees as owners, and we can bring out the best and play to everyone's strengths and create the kind of outcome financially for our employee owners, that would make me feel very, very satisfied, grateful, appreciative that we've been able to achieve something truly magical. So I think more in those terms at this stage of my life is how do we create an amazing outcome for everyone? And I also think when you get older, you think more about how to give back, how to do more for others, because you sort of achieved what you had intended to achieve with your career. And as I look back on my life, I want to figure out how I can help others, kind of achieve their potential.
Yeah, imagine that the next sale or wherever we're at next has got to be a huge reward for
Hmm.
everyone you're giving it to, but how much you've done for everyone to, create that sale, create that environment where we're all employee owners. Like
Yeah.
that's got to be a proud moment, I'm
It
sure.
it will be a very, very proud moment, yes, and, it's all of us together, right, creating that outcome, and that's why it's so important to me that we figure out as leaders to make it feel that way for everyone. I want everyone to really feel like an owner and know that the potential is there to have a game-changing event for you and your family from a financial standpoint to build a nest egg.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be really just goes back to being in a position where you there's people out there who don't have that, but they could
Mhm.
get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And and it's real. I think that's one of the things that's been most surprising to me. I think initially is, the skepticism, because this isn't, a normal thing like you see in most companies, and I hope it is. I hope someday it is, but it is real, and the opportunity is there, and we just need to keep building this company together, and it's people like you, Trevor, and others that bring your heart and soul every day to making us better. So I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. I know that, when I started, we've had a few sales and all that stuff, and they've
Yep.
given some of that money back to the employees, but nothing
Yeah.
has been as transparent as this one right now.
Yeah.
Like
Awesome.
everything is just a surprise, and this one is all right. Game
Mm.
on.
Yep.
Like you,
Game on. Yep. Sharing everything openly, really getting our employees involved and understanding how to create value together and the role they play in
yeah.
making that happen. So thank you so much for being my guest today. I've really enjoyed this. Trevor Cadwell, you inspire me.
Thanks for having me. It was very nice conversation.